It's really disheartening how nasty the political discourse has become in the United States. The divide between the left and the right is so great right now that there's no more room for dialogue. And this is quite apparent when you notice how certain political actors, like content creators and activists, they're looking at the law not in order to understand the spirit of the law and why the law is there and what it's supposed to accomplish. They don't care about that. Instead, they care if their opponents can be caught on a technicality. It's kind of like assuming that their opponents have to be criminals, so you just need to look hard enough to see when they slip up. And here you have like a video that got 4.2 million views. And I want you guys to watch it, and then we can comment on it.
Take the rest of it. Here, it's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100. We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right, bye. Nice seeing you. Take the rest.
Now, I gotta say, this type of thing, I do find it cringe. This is the type of thing that politicians do here in Eastern Europe. The kissing of the baby thing. In the case of Trump, he actually pulls it off in a way that is not cringe. But it's still eye-rolling, because, like, okay, the cameras are rolling. Come on. Like, it's obvious what you're doing. The cameras are rolling. Even though, like, this is the type of gesture that he probably does in his free time. But it comes off as a little bit disingenuous. You know, I actually got raised in a very Christian family. And I did read the Bible, and it was about Jesus saying something, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Basically, like, do not give to charity when the cameras are rolling, pretty much. But again, you know, like, the way he speaks, his attitude comes off as a joke, and it's also something that most of his voters even found just a little bit cringe, or they were like, oh, well, this is nice, this is wholesome. But, like, no one found it to be a criminal activity, right? But then you have the left. And again, like, they're just waiting for it. They're analyzing things frame by frame in order to make the argument that, well, no, actually, he should be locked up for this. Like, the full wrath of the law need to descend upon him. Because as you can see, it is illegal for a president candidate or any candidate to hand out cash to voters in the United States. Offering money or any form of valuable consideration in exchange for a vote is considered bribery and violates the federal election laws. The Federal Election Campaign Act and the related laws prohibit this type of conduct to ensure that elections are free and fair. And both the person, right? So, like, even the lady that did her shopping, and Donald Trump could face legal consequences, right? So, in other words, like, if they had their way, if these activists were actually in charge, they would prosecute this lady. I wouldn't be surprised if in their wet dreams they don't see this lady being taken away from her home, taken to a police station, having to meet with the prosecutor, and the prosecutor says, all right, lady, listen up. Either we take this to court and you can get a maximum of 10 years, or we settle it right here and now with a plea deal, with a plea bargain. You know, over $100. It would be, like, first and foremost, you gotta understand the mindset of such individuals. Like, I've never seen the right demand, you know, like an average lady just doing her grocery shoppings and complaining that life is expensive. Yeah, we need to lock her up. Lock her up. Yeah, like, sure, they said lock her up about Hillary Clinton, but I don't think they ever said lock her up about, like, a random lady doing the groceries. And of course, the weasel words, like, she may be, perhaps. I mean, yeah, I do think that it's difficult even for a jury to convict this and to find that this was bribery, because he's not saying, hey, will you vote for me? Here's $100, right? He's not even giving it to her. He's giving it to the store. I mean, from a legal standpoint, to get the jury to unanimously find beyond reasonable doubt, you know, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But again, that's not the reason why they're doing this. The reason is that they're trying to prime people in order to believe that Trump's a criminal and that his supporters are criminal as well. This is when he got into office, and they started with the Russian collusion. And when COVID was happening, and it was in the beginning, they were like, no, we need to impeach him, right? Like they want to prime the public into believing that he is unhinged, he's a criminal, so that when they say, oh, look, he used the word bloodbath, he used the word fight, he's a criminal. Because normally if someone uses these words in any context, like if Nancy Pelosi goes on TV and says, yeah, I looked at the stock market today, it's a bloodbath, no one would think for a second to look into her rhetoric. No one would think that her rhetoric is violent in any way, shape, or form. If you have your boss at your wage cage going, yeah, today is Black Friday, so we need to fight, make sure that we get those numbers up, make sure that we solidify those sales, that we hit the quota. No one is going to think that your boss is encouraging people for violence, right? But with Trump, because people are primed, and they're primed because you have the activists like constantly saying, oh, look, he did this crime, he did that crime, criminal. Then whenever he says something, they're going to have the most uncharitable explanation about him, and people are willing to believe it. Now, the reason that in the beginning I brought up the spirit of the law is that this is what's the most important. The legislator, when he passes a legislation, he passes it for a reason. And in this case, it's to protect something. It's to protect the integrity of the election. It's so that you can't just have a rich person throwing money at people and buying votes. Meaning that his policy wouldn't matter, his character wouldn't matter, it's just how big his wallet is, right? Like, imagine the conversation, why is this guy the president? He's a national embarrassment. Well, yeah, but he bought the votes. You know, like, that is the spirit of the law. That is why it was passed. And I want to ask you, is it in the spirit of the law to say, if you vote for my political party, we're going to abolish student debt? Is that not similar to buying votes? Like, there's a person that has to pay money to the bank for their decisions, for becoming a university student. And you're telling them, if my party wins, you won't have to pay that money. Now, what's interesting is that they don't even say, all right, we're going to get rid of the student loans because they're causing student debt. They're not even saying that. No, what they are saying is we're going to fix the problem now so we can also fix it later. Is it not breaking the spirit of the law if you promise people free shit? It's like, hey, vote for me and we're going to increase welfare. Vote for me and we're going to increase government spending. Isn't that similar? Because to me, it looks very similar. Especially because now the politician doesn't even have to open his own wallet. He doesn't even have to do what Donald Trump did and just pay $100 for a lady shopping. They use the taxpayer money to do it. So they can just take the taxpayer money and redistribute it. Or just ask for the banks to print more cash. And all of a sudden, they fulfill their promise. But for some reason, it's not bribing people. Now, if the left genuinely care, and they're like, yeah, you know, politicians shouldn't be able to bribe people, they would champion legislation to be made to stop this. They would champion legislation that would ban politicians for promising free shit before the elections. They would pass legislation that would ban people from abolishing debt before an election. What about, you know, oh, we're going to get people in here that are asylum seekers, and we're going to give them free housing and free shit, and, you know, hopefully in the future they can have families and they can vote for us. Like, once they become citizens, right? Like, once they have babies and once they become American citizens, they can vote for us. How is that not breaking the spirit of the thing? So if you genuinely care about, you know, the laws, and you believe in the laws, and you think the laws are there for a good reason, then you would be concerned about these things, and you would advocate, okay, well, look, they managed to find a way around the law. Like, can we not close that loophole? Can we not write additional legislation to also make it illegal from abolishing debt, from promising free shit, from like, can we not close this loophole up? They're not doing that. What they are doing instead is like, oh, a right-winger gave $100. Clearly a violation. That lady that received the $100 needs to be locked up. And again, like, from a damage point of view, like, let's be honest. First of all, he's not even telling the lady she has to vote for him. But secondly, how many votes is he buying? It's like $100 to a lady, right? Okay, he bought one vote. It's not like $100 per vote, by the way. It's not a good return on investment. So even from, again, like from a pragmatic point, the damage he did is so minimal that I don't think any prosecutor would even pick up the case. In a normal situation. I mean, it's America, so I don't know. But like in a normal situation, they would be like, yeah, the damage to society was so minimal, was so small that we're not going to prosecute. Like we're not going to go on cameras taking this lady, because again, if you have to prosecute him, you have to prosecute the lady as well. And you as a prosecutor being in front of the cameras, taking a lady that's complaining about her shopping being too expensive and having to defile her in front of the United States television, probably not something that many prosecutors would like. Or the police officers that have to escort her while she's in cuffs. You know, it's not a good look, not good optics. But this is not about it, right? It's not about the $100. It's not about this incident. It's just like how American politics operates now, where they don't really care about the spirit of the law or why the law is passed or what the law is supposed to achieve. They only care, it's like, all right, can we use it against our opponents? Like, have our opponents broken the letter of the law, the exact writing of the law? Can we get them on that technicality? So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.